you on strike today?
Defending pensions because we're facing poverty in old age and also an increase in the amount of pensions we're paying right now, which I think in my case it could go up to £60 a month. I just had my rent going up, the transport's got more expensive, we had a pay freeze for a year before the public service pay freeze, so that's ongoing, and it's just becoming unaffordable, and I think the current model of pensions is already quite bad, so negotiating a deal which is even worse, which is what the government wants to do, is not acceptable to me, so that's the reason why I'm on strike.
I'm on strike today, as much as anything for the young members. I'm 61, I would normally have retired by now. You can see I'm on a stick. But our older members in the branch and younger members all came out together.
Mark, the union's national executive has met today. What did they decide?
Well, our National Executive Committee has unanimously decided today that we're going to ballot all of our members who work in the public sector for further national industrial action on the 28th of March, followed by a sustained campaign plan to put pressure on the government to force them back into talks so that we can get concessions on our pensions. And we're delighted that the National Union of Teachers have also taken the same decision, and so we will be putting to members coordinated action with a coalition of unions in the civil service and in the education service.
So what will happen next?
Well, what's going to happen now is that we're going to have all of our activists and representatives in around the country to brief them on where we are with the pensions negotiations, why we still want to take further industrial action, and why it's important that we continue to oppose working longer, paying more and getting less, which is what the government has in store for every public sector worker. And once we've had those briefing sessions with our reps, we will be balloting all of our members. This ballot will be a bit different to ones we've had in the past because people will be able to vote not just by post but by internet and by telephone. And our aim really is to get the biggest possible turnout, the biggest yes vote in the ballot that we can possibly get to encourage the government to start talking to us rather than just attack people's pensions.
As you say, you want to get a big turnout, so you've got to get the message out to members of the union who perhaps aren't particularly active. Why would you say to them that they should vote yes for action in this ballot?
Well, it's absolutely important that people everywhere engage in the ballot because the more people who vote, the stronger our mandate is with the government. And when we ask people to vote, we're asking them to do two really important things. One is to agree that we should reject the pensions offer. We hope that that is the most massive rejection of the government's proposals because it's every single PCS member's chance to say no to the government on their pension changes. Then we're asking people to support a programme of industrial action. The more people who vote in favour of that, the clearer the government will be about our determination. And if PCS members, along with members in the education unions and our colleagues in Unite and NIPSA in Northern Ireland, all give us a massive mandate after everything we've been through, then the government is going to have to sit up and take notice. That's why it's in every member's interest to vote and to vote yes to both questions.
The government say that people should be happy with the pension offer that's on the table. Why does PCS say that that's not right?
Well, what the government's actually doing is carrying out the biggest raid on our pension schemes that we have ever seen. It means for hard-pressed public sector workers, they will all have to work longer, up to 68 in some cases, and already there's calls from some employers to increase that to 70. Everyone will have to pay more, even though not a single penny of that money will go into any pension fund, and even though we've had 4 years of pay restraint, meaning people just can't afford it. And everyone will get less, because the government is changing the way pensions will be worked out with inflation, meaning if you retire for 20 years, you'll have a 20% devaluation. This is a massive robbery of people's pensions. It's unfair, it's unjust, and we've been absolutely right to oppose it all the way.
And what's your message to PCS members who've now got to decide whether to take more industrial action?
Well, my message to PCS members is twofold. Firstly, it's to thank all of them. Those who've supported the campaign up to now, taken action in June and November, the ones who've written to their MPs, who've been prepared to say why this is wrong. Those people deserve a massive thanks from the union's leadership. But my further message is, now is the time for us to hold firm. It's not time to give up. It's not time to think we can't make any progress. It's to say if we all stand together, we can stop this unjust attack on your pensions. And whilst it's never easy to vote to take action, defending your pension now will be something I think that you will be glad you've done for years and years to come.
And everybody can get involved, can't they? Even if they're not a union rep, they could make sure everyone in their office is a member, for example. They can take part in demonstrations. What can people do to help?
Well, the thing about the campaign that we've unanimously agreed today that is different to before is that this is a very ongoing campaign which will have lots of different activities in it. Yes, there will be the proposed strike on the 28th of March, but we are planning lobbies, demonstrations, putting pressure on elected politicians, trying to ensure that when senior ministers visit schools or civil service workplaces, they understand there's opposition to what they are doing. Everything that people can do, however large or small, is all going to be welcome at this particular point, because the government is going to assume that people will get tired and they will give up. We've got to show them these are our pensions, they are fair, that we have them on the basis that they've been calculated up to now, and we're going to do everything we can to try to stop a government that is using public sector pensions to raise money to solve the economic problems that of course we did not create.